As you know me definitely, and this is Sifa Sunday, our testimony segment. And today, guys, let me tell you one thing. I don't have the capability, I don't have the power to untie these shoes. These shoes are so big for me that I think, man, it will only take grace. But guess what? Our God is a God of second chances. Our God is a God of who opens doors. He's the I think he's the same God that qualifies the unqualified. So today I host, I think for me, a media icon. Somebody I grew up knowing, and somebody I think in the next years to come, like next generation, our later days and earlier days, she will still be the one person that will have a voice of reason in this society. A mother to some, a friend to some, a sister to some, and a born-again girl to the one God Almighty. Annita Raey.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Hi. Hey, you're introducing me back. I'm like, hey, you guy, don't make me look so...
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Amen. Amen. I'll accept it.
I can be honest with you.
Yeah?
I'm at that point where God is doing so many good things in my life.
Yeah.
Doing TV, I was doing radio, and every day I get to experience God's people in a way that I personally didn't believe it would happen. So hosting you on our show is amazing. And last Sunday, we had this question. And I'll ask you the question as we start this. What's that one verse that has kept you going this half year?
Half of the year, my God, which verse? I would go with our theme verse as a church. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know your labor in the Lord is not in vain. That verse, every time I'm weary, every time I think like, you know what, God, me, I'm tired. I remember my labor in the Lord is not in vain. It doesn't say it's going to be easy. It doesn't say it's going to be a walk in the park. It just says it's not in vain. So that has kept me, that verse for these 6 months, it's really kept me going constantly. It has kept me going, yeah.
So to anybody who doesn't understand where you're coming from, or anybody who doesn't really know who you are, not even in a nutshell, because today is your day to shine. I don't want to spoil your shine.
I am shining in the sun already.
Who is Annita Raey?
Annita Raey, I have dreaded that question since I got saved, because then I'll be honest, I don't know who Annita Raey is. It's something I created to mask my pain and hurt. You know, you create someone to get away from who you are. And it worked magic for years, like it really worked for years. But then if you ask me who I am, that's different from who Annita Raey is. And it might be hard for people to understand, but then my name is not Annita Raey, just so you know. On my ID, you send me M-Pesa, you will fall. One of my pastors discovered my name. I've not been breathing like the last couple of days. She's been calling me my ID name. I'm like, Passy, where are you? She's like, hey, I'll never call you anything else. I created this brand to fit in. Right? So Annita Raey is a brand I worked so hard to create, to fit in. Annita Raey is a mother of 2. I have a 15-year-old son. He's 6 foot tall. He's only 15, Jesus. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I am raising a Gen Z and a Gen Alpha, and I am a millennial. It is a concoction I don't understand. I am a mental health advocate, having gone through it. I am a human rights advocate heavily. I was reject proper. Me, I was out there. Don't play with me. I fight for my rights.
You tear gas.
Hey, me, I was just there telling people, even God says fight. My God is a God of war, but we are fighting for what we believe in, you know. I'm a community worker. That has to be the biggest thing I think people don't know about me. If you look back at every place I've gone, I'm a community worker. I work with girls. I work with high school kids. I feel like that's where I got lost. So I really work with high school kids. What else? I'm an author. I have an upcoming book. You all need to buy that book, by the way. I have a podcast. I have been a radio presenter for 10 years. Radio, TV, you can say I've been a media personality. But I think that's who Annita Raey is. That's who Annita Raey was, maybe. But currently, I would say my biggest title is I'm a servant of God. That is all I do. Everything that I do comes back to, am I serving God? Am I living well by God? Currently, that's who Annita Raey is. But before that, Annita Raey was an advocate. I keep joking and saying, I think I was working a bit too much for the other side of life, because I was advocating for everything that I don't even understand how I was doing it. I was an alcoholic, a functioning alcoholic. I was heavy into depression. I had clinical depression for years, was suicidal a million times. So I keep saying, I don't know, that Annita Raey died because I'm a really, really different person. But then the brand stayed. I wanted to kill the brand, and I remember I even fasted for it, and God was like, you're going to use that same brand on the same platforms to go and make people unlearn what you taught them. Seemed like a punishment, but it's okay.
It reminds me
not
of
a punishment.
one Mr. Googs.
Yes.
When Mr. Googs got saved,
Yeah.
the struggle of keeping his dreadlocks
Yeah.
was still, was so huge.
Yeah.
But he said, like Alikanazo, like for a while, then God told him, now is the time for you to shave.
Yeah.
But back to you, the before Annita Raey.
Yeah, the before.
How was your upbringing?
Okay. I'm a firstborn. I'm a firstborn to an amazing man. God, I love my dad. I'm a firstborn to I'm a firstborn of 4 girls. How was my upbringing? I keep, when I hear other people's upbringing, I'm jealous, because I think people experience love early. People got to know love early. I didn't get that, to be honest. And I've always avoided talking about it of late, because I don't want to make my parents feel bad. But I also want parents to learn. How you bring up a child is how it affects. Childhood trauma stays. Man, that's trauma you can't even unlearn. It dug into you. Takes years of therapy. So my childhood has a lot of trauma. I really started running away from home at class 6. Like, I was so done. I was like, people, there must be something better out there, you know. And growing up when my grandpa died when I was in class 6, I think that is my first memorable loss. I was really heartbroken. And up to date, I keep remembering, like, I always ask myself sometimes, what if Guka was around? Maybe my life would have been different. Maybe I would have still gotten that love. I don't know, maybe my dad would not have been so hurt, you know. So I always look at it that way. But then anyway, it's been years. But my upbringing was really hard, because I didn't have a relationship with my mom. And people always ask me, how's your relationship now? I'm like, trust God to do miracles, because he's still doing them. But I didn't have a relationship. You know, people say girls have daddy issues. Hey, me have mommy issues from here to Jamaica walking back. Yani me, I have them major. And I used to be ashamed of saying it, but I'm like, I have them and I'm working on them. And God is working on me as I work on them, you know. And it was really hard. So by the time I went to high school, I was already heavy into alcohol. Heavy, like my dad had a bar, heavy. Like, I remember when we did our class 8, I was almost expelled for bringing alcohol to school.
Wow.
And you see me, I was smart. I used to be number 1, 2, 3, number 1, 2, 3. So my dad overlooked a lot. And I remember he was like, but she's passing, you know, you have to allow her be a child, you know. She's trying things. Man, I was drinking heavily. So when I went to secondary school, I went to a good school. I went to a really good school. I'm still in the alumni group, and I just joined the wrong company from day one.
What school was this?
Loreto Kiambu.
Wow.
I was admitted. I was number 3 on the board. I remember people were like, man, you're so smart. I used to get an A in chemistry, for heaven's sake. And I'm like, I decided education is not for me, wahala. I am really smart, you know, let me do other things in school. So I got into drugs in school. I started smoking weed a lot. I started drinking heavily in school, and I started smoking cigarettes. That's when I can remember I actually started.
In high school?
Yeah, we used to have a bar inside school.
Bar in school? Okay. How did you end up
I'm
putting
not
a bar
trying
in
to
high
get
school?
that school in trouble. I love the school, man.
Eh?
But we were really, we had a lot of, that school is a time it had to go really through a drastic change, because a lot of things had gone wrong in the school. And it's a place of you overlooking things, no offense, hiding in Christianity and in church, and you're saying, but we come to church on Sunday, but you know, we have Bible study, but we were doing everything that should not be done in a school. And believe me when I say, in high school is where everything went south. Because now I had access and I had free time. Like, I can stay for 3 months without seeing my parents. You understand? They won't ask me. They don't know. That's the thing. They had no idea. My mom is not going to be down my throat like you're doing. No, it won't happen. So yeah, so in high school I started doing drugs, heavily selling drugs. I remember my first major suspension was for selling drugs. And my dad was like, I'm not coming to that school. That is your child. So my mom came. No, my mom is coming. Like, you know, it's the first time. The principal was like, it is not the first time we are suspending her. This is like the 10th time. What do you mean it's the first time? My mom wailed, whoa. My mom gave up. Yeah, she was sad. Like, what do you mean she's been suspended? My mom was like, this child only comes home when she's sick. had never been sick. I had really, like every time I look back at it, I get scared because I'm raising a daughter. I'm like, Father, I have repented. May my daughter not put me through this, you know. But then high school, I got expelled. I think the principal got tired of trying to save me, and I was not someone who was willing to be saved. I felt like I don't have anything. I don't want to go back home. I'm not interested in staying at home. I hated my mom. I say that because then I did. And I felt like she didn't want a child. She didn't want me. She didn't care. She used to beat me like she's trying to kill me. I was angry. I was like, Daddy, you're never home. You don't know what's happening. So I ran away from, when I was expelled, I didn't go back home. I was like, it's never that serious. I have seen street kids. I know these kids have a life. I was like, I'm going to suffer with strangers. It is way comfortable to suffer with strangers, you know.
And while all these things were happening, where were your siblings?
Younger than me, my second-born sister, I think she carries second-hand trauma from me because now she experienced all the drama. Because I keep saying, then I didn't see it, but now I see it because my drama brought drama for everyone. I mean, I'm running away from home. Of course, my dad is going to bring havoc for everyone. Why is the child? My mom is not going to be in peace. I think my sisters grew up under my shadow, and it's not a good shadow. It's a shadow of my madness. It's a shadow of my troubles. I was selfish because I wanted to do things my way, but then it brought so much problems. Like for her, she's now healing. We are close. Imagine I have had to recreate a relationship with my sisters. Because I'm my third-born sister and fourth-born, I don't know them. So every time we cross lines, I always tell them, bro, me, I don't know you. You can't even tell me nothing. And it keeps coming back because it's true. Like I left home so early. But my second-born sister, we stayed. She's also a bit broken. But now she's healing. Watching her heal has to be the most beautiful thing I've seen God do, most beautiful thing. So I can say my second-born sister was the most affected by my madness, very affected. And it took her years to even understand she was affected. Because you're struggling to get attention from parents who are struggling with a crazy child. You understand? So it must have been really hard for her. She didn't get attention. She didn't get maybe the love she deserved. She didn't get... I'm sure she felt like my dad put in a lot of energy in me, but I think my dad thought he could really rescue me, you know. Yeah, maybe he thought that.
So at the end of the day, with your dad loving you, how he loved you, and your mom loving you, how she loved you, what would you take home to any child or any parent who's watching, and they're like, one of us is with the firstborn, the other one is the secondborn?
First of all, parents need to stop doing that. It's one of the saddest things parents do. I'm a parent, and I'm saying this from a point of being a parent and being a child to someone. We need to stop taking sides as parents. Stop showing your children that there can be a better child, and stop comparing your kids, for heaven's sake. They even have different teeth. I get so angry when I'm seated and I hear someone be like your cousin. Yo! Then go have my cousin. Yeah, I always get offended because I grew up like, be like your cousin, be better like this cousin. She's doing, even my sister not grew up in that shadow. Don't be like your sister. Don't talk to your sister. Don't. You make the children not understand what love is. And you see, for children, things you tell them stay.
Very true.
That thing won't leave. That child is going to be scared to talk to their own sibling. You saw your sister, she was suspended for smoking bang. You don't want to see you talking to her. They are siblings in the same house. How do you expect them not to converse or have relationships? And you see, in telling them that so much, you take away their relationship. Parents, your children are uniquely different. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of these children. So I would ask for any parent watching, love your children differently. You can love them equally, actually, but love them differently. You can love them, all of them equally, but love them differently. Love each child. They are like, how do I put it? Each child is like a different kind of mug. One is blue, one is purple, and they will never be the same. So I'm asking for you to understand you can love this black mug the same equal measure, but differently with how you love a blue mug. You can't just love them the same. And dear children, you have to understand that your siblings are not competitors. It is okay to have the rivalry, it's healthy. But you're not competitors. You have to remember that the one person you should always have your back, your sibling. Like me, even if I'm not talking to my sister and someone offends them, hey, I'll get very offended on their behalf. So I think people have to overlook and understand that our uniqueness is our strength.
Yeah, very true.
And parents have to see your child, one wanting to be a pilot, another mechanic. That is their strength. You can't just wake up and decide, oh, because I'm a doctor, all my children, you either become an asthma, you're not my child. Ay, Banange, what is wrong with you? Parents need to do me a favor. One of the things I do, and I practice religiously, don't force your failed dreams on your children. Do not.
Because so many parents do that, actually.
Mr. Failed lawyer, you want your child to be a lawyer? Please go and be a lawyer at your age. Mr. Failed pilot, oh, if he's not a pilot, he's not my child. Whose pilot are you?
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Guys, if your child wants to be a DJ, allow them to be a DJ. They are a whole human being with a life.
Yeah, very true.
That thing of, I wanted to become, it's okay, parent. Please continue wanting. Now allow the child to have a life on their own. People say I spoil my son because I ask him, what do you want? I want to be a policeman. So, Baba, I will take you to the gun range. You become what you want to become. He's changed careers over the years. I'm like, whatever you want. I will only advise you and tell you this is what you can be. This is how to become what you want to become. But I get angry because sometimes you sit with parents and they're so harsh. I told them I will not pay for that DJ school. Hey, parents, we fail. Listen to your children. You're not raising them to become stupid. You're raising them to become smart. And I'm so glad that Gen Z have woken up their parents like they're not stupid.
Like we have the information.
They have the information.
We have the power in our hands.
Yes. So, yeah.
So, from like you said in high school, you were suspended over 10 times.
Yeah.
And your parents could not believe this.
My mom was
Your mom was like out of all this. Well, so what happened to college life? Were you also given any?
DJ Hobbs, it's very, very outrageous of you to think I had a college life. Thank you for the high, but I didn't have a college. I have never experienced college life.
And how, if you didn't have a college life, how did you end up working in a media house?
Have you met someone called God? Hey, God is no man. God is not Kamau. I keep telling people that he doesn't sleep in Keno. God decides, God plans. I got married immediately after high school. Like I finished high school at 17. I was like, bro, I found me a 6'4" man. Yani he's tall. He's 10 years older. I went and told my mom because akipika chapo. First of all, naenda kuanza kwangu. Hutawahi ni stress tena.
Pause. Wait.
Can I hope my mom watches this?
You
I'm
got
really
married
sorry.
after high school?
Yeah. Straight out of high
Where did you
school.
meet this guy?
In the bar.
And ukamua sana hivyo?
7 days down the line, I was married.
After 7 days?
Ice. Don't play with me. 24th December 31st, I was a whole wife. You people, you're playing with marriage. I love. Father. I know you think I'm joking. I'm not, by the way.
How do you... Okay. Can you explain this? How do you end up getting married, meeting a guy in a bar after 7 days? Is that love or lust? No.
I am so sure it was not last, believe you me. It was not last. I got assaulted when I was 15, and it made me really I hated men. I hated men. But then he was a bully. I knew him from our village because our town, Limuru, because he was a bully and he was known like, this guy is just a bully. But then he was a friend, best friend to my best friend was called Kenny, he passed away. Now the uncle was best friends with this guy. So we went out it was on the 24th of December, we were celebrating, listen to us Christians, we are celebrating the birth of Christ in the bar, come on now. Yes, by drinking like we were the ones being born the next day, you know. Went to the bar, celebrated, and then he hit on me with the stupidest, dumbest pickup line. All my friends, when they want to irritate me, they remind me that I passed. And he was like, simama, are you okay? I was like, usiniguse wewe. What? I was like, umeumia? I was like, kwa nini? Juu umeanguka kutoka heaven. Lame. It's not even funny. And when he asked me that, I was so irritated, but then I laughed. I was like, achana na mimi. Funniest thing, we sat till 4 a.m. talking. And I remember at 4 a.m. he was like, where are you going home right now? Let's go to my mom's place, my mother's house. You'll be safe here. In my mom's house, I can't touch you. I was like, Father, anyway, I'm drunk and I want to sleep. I woke up that Christmas morning and I'll never forget. When you're drunk, you don't remember things. So I woke up and I was like, where am I? Then I had women talking. I was like, eh. I looked around, I was like, I'm alone. Hey, the Kikuyu in me, sorry, where? In me, okay. We cannot take it back. I was alone and I could hear women whispering at the window. So I was scared to people. I was like, what's you in your mind? You're like, I am ready for war. If this woman comes, hey, me, I'll tell her I didn't know. And then I hear, amekuja na msichana. In my mind, I'm like, so then the sisters were very excited. Apparently, this man has not brought a woman home, and they were like, you need to bring someone. So I was like, I'm not being set up here. And he was like, if you stay this Christmas with me, I will pigisha you sherehe for the whole week.
Takula sherehe.
Like, Father, that is a very cheap dialogue. I just have to smile with your family. One time, what do you want me to tell them that you're my girlfriend? Just that. Are you guy? I got you. And then you see I'm a child. All I was looking for love and acceptance. That's the only thing I needed.
Did you find it?
Yeah. That is the only person who was like, I will protect you. But then he's the first person I told about my assault. And he was like, nobody is ever going to hurt you. Like, as long as I am with you, nobody will ever hurt you. Nobody will put their hands on you. Nobody will make you... And it's true. that man kept that word. Like nobody would ever hurt me. Nobody. Even my own family would be like, hey, you leave her alone. You go through me. So after 7 days, he told me, I'll never forget that day. He was like, yo, so I'm going back to Nairobi. Do you want to go back with me or you want to stay here? That was my marriage proposal, by the way. So you have to decide. I was like, now so that I know if you're going tomorrow.
Did you do a wedding?
But did I just not tell you the proposal was in 7 days and we just proposed? Like,
this guy is telling you, let's go to Nairobi.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like, the normal way is, let's go to Nairobi. Then we can discuss how we can go see your parents and stuff.
What is normal about my story? But one thing he never did, he never asked my age. He assumed I met her in a bar. She must be an adult. He never asked my age. But I never told. I look like an adult. I mean, I was like, he never asked the day that man found out I'm not 18. Hey!
You know one thing? When somebody is married, automatically people expect them to change.
Yeah.
Stop the drinking.
Yeah.
Stop going out.
Yeah.
Be the wife. Was that the same case on you?
So I was a whole wife. I actually wrote about it a few days ago. I was appreciating the men in my life in June till Ruto had to go, and then I had to stop appreciating them. And now I took a break. Now I'm going to appreciate. And I was appreciating my ex-husband. And I was like, I appreciate the fact that I learned from him because I married my dad. Man, they have the first name. Like, it hit me when I left the marriage that these people share a first name. It was hilarious, you know. I drank with him. I never drank alone. I drank with him. We used to party.
You were going out together?
Every weekend, Sharia. When I got tired, he now started getting angry. What do you mean? We met in the bar. Why are you getting tired of partying with me? Who am I supposed to party with? Why do you want me to go party with other women? Actually, there was a big fight in our marriage. Because when I had my son, and he was like, what do you mean you're not going out with me? I want to go out with my wife. We loved going out so much, we put up a bar. A whole bar. Yep.
Nope,
we were very disciplined. We had other people that buys ours. So we used to, like, that's how much we used to drink. And it was one of the reasons that brought us together, but also the reason that put us apart. Because now I got to a point where I felt like I should reduce my drinking and I should change what I'm doing. Like, I really felt like I should, because it's not working for both of us. Like, you drink, I'm okay with you drinking. But then he didn't want it. Like, he really wanted to drink with his wife. Like, he would go out and say, me, I'm not coming home if you're not coming to get me. I'm like, ay, Lord, this marriage. But I stayed 5 years. I keep saying it was the best and the worst thing that happened to me, because it shaped me so much in a good and a bad way. And sadly, who I have been for the last maybe 13 years is a result of that marriage.
So when you say you got tired, you got tired of going to drink with your husband, or you got tired because of now you want a different lifestyle? Yeah,
I just got tired of drinking. I mean, as you said, when you get married, there's things you want to see. I mean, we can't drink every weekend. We're married, but we can't. We have to do other things. Other couples are hanging out, making investments, visiting their families. We can't be partying every weekend, my guy. 5 years, that's a long time. You have to take a different path. We have a son now. I want to take my son out on Sunday. I don't want to be hungovered. Our son was baptized. I was like, I want this son to grow in church. We are not going to church. Something has to give. And he was like, all right, you'll be going to church then. And I took that path. And I think that was a big split in our marriage when I decided I want to reduce my drinking. And so it reduced our hanging out. You hang out in the bar, I'll see you when I see you.
Did it affect your marriage?
Definitely, a lot. It is not the reason we broke up. We broke up because, one, I was in a very violent marriage. That was one of the main reasons. Like, I was beaten in my marriage from 6 months. Like, as early as 6 months, there was violence, the whole marriage. And you see, I grew up in violence. So for me, I never felt like the violence is a lot. I was like, that's all I knew. To be honest, actually, I was like, that's all I know. So I didn't expect it to be any different. Until one day I realized it should not be like this. I should not be beaten. You know, when you start growing, I went and did a course, you start meeting people, talking about it, and people are like, you're being beaten. Why are you being beaten? Why are you allowing it? So I came to understand that this is not it. And we had so many conversations of, you need to change or I'm going to leave, you know. And I think eventually I realized no one can change for you. They can only change for themselves. So I had to change for myself. So it was a hard thing. I left my marriage just one day and people didn't expect me to. Like, you know, like, Anita loves this guy. Anita loves it. And I left. So,
we all know that you had a condition.
Yes.
and God literally took you out of it.
Yeah.
But my question is, how did you get it? I keep on asking myself,
Which condition?
The one,
Oh, the Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a year in a week since I got the Bell's palsy. How did I get out of it? God, for real. It's God. It happened last year, July, I think July 10th. I came home. I was volunteering in Mombasa. I was doing charity work in Mombasa, Ganze, Kilifi, uko ndani. And then I started feeling unwell. So I was like, I want to go home. I really want to go home. I just want to go see my baby, just relax. So I came home, and I remember I started feeling unwell. You know how you make assumptions. Our mothers are doctors. That's a cold.
all the concussion in the world.
That's a cold. Ginger. It's not going. Yeah, so I called my friend in Kosovo. She's also a mother. That is dengue fever. Did you find papai leaves, boil them? Jesus, I was treated.
Some said it was herpes also.
That one is me who said funniest.
I saw somewhere, I was like,
that is me who said
herpes.
Listen, I was volunteering in a in a GBV, an assault place, yeah? It's somewhere you handle things maybe you don't know how safe or unsafe they are.
Very true.
And you tell yourself, if you volunteer in places that you end up being in hospital, you're exposed to a lot of things. So that was me. That was actually funniest thing. I'm the one who suggested that to the doctor, and the doctor laughed. They're like, you're even treating yourself. I Googled. Please never Google your symptoms. Guys, you will be told you're pregnant and you're a man. So I swear, man, I Googled those things. So I'm an overthinker. So I already had like 5 diseases in my head.
Very true.
So it was this pimple. My mom was like, that's a cold, so I let it go. Then my sister said, let's wash it with aloe vera. Hey man, I had doctors, we washed it with aloe vera.
It's yucky. That thing tastes so
I
bad.
have those pictures, I look at them, I'm like, anyway, we are the ones who brought this.
Yeah,
because it was just a pimple, my God, I don't know why we did all those things. Then I don't know, we washed it with what? And then my sister was like, apply Colgate. I even have pictures of Colgate applied. God. I was like, okay, let's keep this. Then, now, when I went to the doctor, I told them, my face is itchy though. You know how you start getting paranoid? Man, I was paranoid. I was so paranoid. I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I had really gotten saved like just a month before. So I kept feeling like there are spiritual attacks. One of my spiritual fathers was like, Anita, you have to pray because you're a big deal. You getting saved is really not easy, you know. Yeah, so you really have to pray about it. You have to talk to God about it. So the morning I woke up with a splitting headache. And I was like, no, this is not a cold. There is no cold that is going to drive me. I'm feeling cold. I have a fever, all this. I was like, I can't. You have to. So I went to see the doctor, and I told the doctor, I think I have herpes. The doctor laughed. God, she was a pregnant doctor, and she laughed. She was like, who told you that? I was like, I have done self-diagnosis. And looking at where I have been, I'm sure it's herpes. She was like, no, you don't have herpes. But let me check it out. So she was like, listen, if you're imagining you're itchy, I'm going to give you cream. That was the other problem was, I'm going to give you cream. So we were treating something that wasn't there. Because this side didn't have anything. You know, it was only here. When we went home, I told my sister, let's not apply aloe vera. Let's just put cream. Hey. So we put cream. We applied, like, let's just be protective. Guys, I woke up with, like, water things, like, on my face. Hey, me, I love my face. God, I love my face. I'm telling you, I was so scared. You know, you wake up, I want to go to hospital. I'm not even thinking straight. I'm in so much pain. So much. The pain was everything. And then I was losing my mind. And I have a high pain tolerance. So I was telling people, if you see me saying I'm in pain, I'm dying. So by the time we got to the hospital, my pressure was over the roof. I was getting a mild stroke. And we didn't know because I was actually very okay. But then, you know, when the pain started coming down, the doctor was my pressure was so high. And he was like, you walked here. How did you walk? So now they scare me more, and now anxiety just kicks in, and my pressure kept going up. It took us like a couple of weeks to actually bring it down, and a lot of medication. Physiotherapy, because the stroke was affecting this side. Now you see now that you've cured that, and you're there like, God, thank you, man, I'm getting ready to go back to Mombasa. I wake up one morning, and I realize I don't have a voice, and I'm like, why can't I speak? Then I take, you take your phone, and you look, and this whole face was down. Hey, this one side, I was like, Father, I'm dreaming. So I'm trying to call my sister, I'm trying to call someone. And I remember my sister saw me and her face, I was like, Father, my eye couldn't close.
Did she, get scared?
Of course, she scared me to death. My eye couldn't close. Jesus, it was scary. It was very scary because you see your face sags. And when you speak, your mouth goes sideways. That was the funniest part though, but everything else was not funny. And I couldn't close my eyes at all. And my mom was so scared. She was like, I think you're gonna die. She started praying, God, my mother. Then she started praying, guys, the prayers that were prayed for me during that season. Hey,
A lot.
man, I even had people from SDA come to our home who were told your child is sick. The whole time I was like, hey, Father, I'm not even sure which prayers are good anymore. Everybody's praying for me. And people prayed, like people couldn't believe it can be physical, it can be a disease. Who knows Bell's palsy? What is Bell's palsy? You know, when my doctor told me that, I was like, what is that? I was like, yeah, man, these diseases, you people just come up with anything. And I remember my auntie saying, this is witchcraft. This is witch, the ceremonies were many. And I kept telling God, you have to tell me what you're teaching me, because this is a lot. Even I feel like it's a lot. You're not giving me a breather, it's back to back. And with the Bell's palsy, I lost balance, so I couldn't walk straight. Maybe imagine I'm struggling to recover from a mild stroke that the doctor says can reoccur if your pressure doesn't go down. So I'm taking pressure tablets, I'm on pain tablets, I'm on some nerve medication, I'm on steroids because of my nerves. And you're being asked to now take care of yourself. I'm like, what more do I even need to do? Guys, I'm doing everything. I'm grounded, like I'm at home. I stay in bed all day. I can't walk. I lost balance, guys. There's a day. If my last born sister watches this, she laughed. God, Jerry, you're a mean person. I thought I'm okay, so I was walking. I fell in a garden of skooma.
Skooma.
Because I kept telling her, don't hold me. You know, you're tired of being, don't touch me. I'm okay. She left me for a second. I swear I couldn't stand on her. Instead of picking me, she was just dying.
Sorry.
She was like, I told you, you can't walk on your own. You have to be held. It was funny and not funny because I was getting tired. I was telling God, you can't ground me. I felt like God was grounding me. I was like, I have so much to do. And God was like, the only way you will listen to me, the only way you will learn is if you're grounded. I was grounded the entire of July, the entire of August, the entire of September. Can you imagine 3 months? Hey, everything changed in those 3 months. Funniest thing, I got to know God more and read the Bible more. I had a Bible. CJ Atemo bought me a Bible in 2020. I had not read it much. So I had time to read the Bible, to understand the Word of God, to listen, to ask God, what are you teaching me? Because it must be a lesson. Because this is a lot. What do you want me to learn? What do you want me to understand? And since I was like 13, 15, I had not stayed in my mother's house for long. I used to just come a few days, I'm out. So this was the longest period I've been in my mother's house. I'm 33 years. I have to stay at home. I have to learn how to be a child again. It was a lot. But what amazed me the most about God, when I was volunteering, I wasn't making money. This disease is very expensive. Nerve problems are very expensive. When I said I'm unwell, I remember that specific day, people sent me enough money to cater for my 3 months of medication. I had people pay for my physio. I had my friend come all the way. He really came from far to just tell me, what do you need? Like, you have to give us a list, what do you need? And my friends made sure. I lost a lot of friends during the disease. Like, you're not around, you're not drinking anymore, we can find you, you're not partying, you're boring. Because I couldn't speak well. My cousins used to say, you, Madam Disabled. I used to speak, my mouth is on the side, I have mean family members. And they used to be like, hey, don't make it sad. They didn't want me to get sad, so they made a joke out of it. And that helped me get better so much, because the people who stayed in my life cannot live now. They stayed during the hardest moments of me learning how to chew again. God, it was not fun. My teeth.
Like, you had to learn everything now again.
On this side, this eyebrow couldn't go up, the eye couldn't close, and I couldn't eat with this side. I think I started eating well, I think around December. It was so painful. I used to put something, I used to see food and I'm like, oh, I'm not eating, it's painful. Like, I'm okay, give me yogurt. For me to get through that, and then the doctor was like, you've recovered so well, because he kept telling me, he was skeptical. I don't think you're gonna make a full recovery. I'm like, well, Dexter, I don't want to have my mouth on the side. That was my biggest fear. But then it recovered, and you can see it faded away, because he was like, this is a burn wound, it will fade away fast. Yeah, but it also made me understand that sickness can bring out the best and the worst in people, because I couldn't do anything for myself for a long time. For a while, I couldn't bend, I couldn't stay in a place with this kind of heat. It would trigger my nerves and I would be so much pain. If I go in a cold place, it was crazy. And I remember when I shared my Bell's palsy, hey, people are going through it out here. The messages were thousands.
Out of people.
Yeah, and I want this condition, and I found a really good doctor in Nairobi. So every time people come to me, I'm like, let me refer you to this doctor, because I'm not a doctor. I'm really not a doctor. But I survived. It made me closer to God, and it's one of the journeys that were necessary. You know, people say, if I was to take away something, I will not take away this, because it made me sit down and listen. I was just running.
So let me ask you, you growing up, you've been the party girl. You went into marriage as a party girl, drinking all. You even had to open a bar so that to be in the same space
with alcohol.
And now you're sick. I hear out of God. Where did you really come to experience God? Because somebody would say, huyo amekuwa nini, alikuwa msiki ndio akaona aende kwa God. And mostly that's the narrative about guys who are born again. Ati alipitia kitu ndio akajua God. So for you, when did you say, God, now I'm coming to you?
I'm coming home.
Yeah.
For me, God has always been there. I think I am, someone called me a deal maker with God. I make deals with God all the time. I'm like, God, if you do this for me. Even when I was a drunkard, I used to tell God, if you end this hangover, Father, I'm never drinking again. It's never happened. I grew up in a family where church was present. My grandfather was a pastor for a long time. I grew up in a family where a lot of God was there, but it's not the God you think you want to see or the God you would want to see. Different denominations in our house. My sister is Catholic. One is Catholic. My mom goes to AICPA. I think everybody's in. My father is Kikuyu. That is his culture. That is his church. Yeah. My dad has dreadlocks. The coolest dad in the world, yani. So his culture, you know, and all through I kept seeking God because I was trying to find something. And I remember my last suicide attempt when I was 15. I think between 15 and 17, I told God, if I don't die, then I'll never attempt again. And I went to a church and I attempted suicide in a church. And I was like, Aki, if I don't die today. And I stopped.
Wait, why were you trying suicide in a church?
Because I was like, he's not taking me, so I'm coming to his place. Like, yo, bro, this is, but I make deals with God. I have changed, but I used to. So I went to his house. I was like, I am in your house. I am making a deal. If I don't die today, I'm done with the whole suicide thing. And I didn't die, so I stopped. I was like, I'm not even trying to stop suicide because I've not died. I'm stopping because you're not taking me.
I'm taking me.
Yeah, so I was angry at him. I was like, I'll never even try to come to you. You, when you're ready, you will come for me.
So
I've always had a very... Come for me.
Yeah.
But fast forward, got into media. I still really wanted to know God. That's the reason I got a Bible in 2020. CJ Atemo, we used to have a breakfast show on Citizen TV. And he asked me one day, what do you want for the new year as a present? I was like, a Bible. He was like, why do you want a Bible, Anita? That's the man who made me want to seek God. CJ Atemo is, I don't even have the words to describe him. I'm a wild person even now that I'm saved. I'm a crazy person. I'll say things and you don't want to be associated with me. So then I used to say things on TV, seated next to him. And he's already prayed for me and I'm still saying them. I'm sure he used to be like, Lord, you have to give me a different challenge. This one is a lot. But he never, CJ Atemo, never scolded me, never got angry, and never got tired.
Never gave up on you.
Man, that man still used to preach to me.
Yeah.
You know God loves you, right? And I am here. I used to call CJ Atemo crying. God doesn't like me. He doesn't. CJ is like, are you done crying? Call me when you're sober, we pray. I'm like, CJ, I'm sober. He's like, no. And he never gave up. So he brought me that Bible. It's one of my treasured things, you know. And he told me, may God guide you. Because I can teach you a lot of things, but I can't teach you God. That you have to find for yourself. So I kept asking him, CJ, how do I find God? This is now 2021. I'm asking him, CJ, I really want to find God. He's like, you have to go and read the Bible. That is the only place you're finding him. And so I started reading the Bible slowly, understanding God. So 2021, 2022, I went to Turkana. I was working in Turkana, and I was alone for a while. Now that was a beautiful time. I started praying a lot and understanding God more. But then God was asking for too much. Because God was like, you have to have a system change, a life change. I was like,
What do you mean? Like,
I
too much in specific.
I'm Annita Raey. I am the life of the party, guys. I can say this on camera now. I'm saved. Yeah, I was dating a married person. I was like, you're asking me to let go of all this. Hey, bro, you're asking for too much. How will I survive?
Yeah.
I mean, I am Annita Raey. That's what I kept telling God. I am Annita Raey. I've created a brand on alcohol and madness. How do you expect me to survive? And God kept saying, you will not, until this self dies, until this you dies, you're not getting reborn. And so I fought with it for a long time. In March last year, I told God, I'm tired. I was extremely tired of doing life the way I've been doing it. I wanted to try life God's way. I was so honest, and I remember sitting down and telling one of my saved friends, I want to do life the God way. They were like, this is strange coming from me. I was like, I want to do life God's way. And they were like, okay, where do you want to start? I was like, you tell me where to start. They were like, you have to start praying. Other than reading the Bible, you have to start praying. So when I went to Mombasa, I stepped away from the alcohol scene. And that was good for me, because I really wanted to quit alcohol. But I never told anyone. Because you see, the more you say it, you don't do it.
Yeah.
So I told myself the quitting of alcohol will be such a personal thing. People will see it later.
Yeah.
So in May is my birthday. I came back to Nairobi in May. I was still in Mombasa praying every day, waking up at 4:30. I made it a tradition. I started going to a church near where I was. Like, I made it a tradition. I was even going for Kesha. I was like, I want to know God. I really want to know God. And I was in a good spiritual space. But of course, you don't have a community. You don't have spiritual parenting. You don't have spiritual guidance. You're just doing it randomly. I was doing it according to the gospel of Peter. And then you're using the Bible, you know. But you need to be able to understand the Bible and implement it in today's world, yeah? So in May when I came, I remember people threw me a party. for my birthday. And it was one of my worst parties because I didn't want it. But there was so much alcohol. And I told one of my friends, he was from Dubai. I told him, gee, I'm never going to drink again. I was like, yeah, Anita, I was like, take it. I'm not even going to tell anyone else. I will never drink again. And that was it. I have never drunk again, by the way.
So the thing is this.
Yeah?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How long did it take to receiving Christ and saying, God, now I purposefully want to serve you. I purposefully want to experience you.
Okay.
And you quitting alcohol. Because most of the time, we expect to mesivika leo. Kesho, nini, alcohol hakuna. But you wake up and you find yourself drinking again. And there are also guys who they say, it's my last. It's my last. It's my last. How long did it take you? I
quit alcohol before I got saved. I quit alcohol June, July, August, September, October. I quit alcohol 5 months before I got saved. I quit. Listen, I have the willpower to do anything. My mind is my everything. Willpower. I quit weed the same way. I told people I'll never smoke again. I never smoked again. I quit cigarettes the same way. I threw them in a dustbin. People are like, please, I never. I always tell myself, it's my mind. My therapist, I have an amazing therapist who taught me.
Mind.
If you say you won't, you won't. But if you give it doubt, if you give it an ounce of doubt, that's it, you're done. So I quit alcohol in a way. I knew where I was quitting. I was tired of hearing stories in the morning. I was tired of waking up to messages of, babe, I'm like, who is this? Why are you babying me in the morning, wahala? And I'm like, did I get in another relationship and you're there trying to break up with someone you don't know, guys? It was tired.
Did you wake up in another house?
Hell, well, don't go there, Father, I am saved. I refuse to go back to that. I refuse to even remember. I used to see those memes. You wake up and hear someone breathing behind you. You're like, Father, I am here one more time. It is me, your child. Father, I am begging you, this dragon behind me, Father, may it not wake up. Because I need to know where I am. Where's my phone? And you see, people think that's a cool life. It is not.
It's not a cool life.
You're waking up and you're looking at the ceiling. You're like, this is not my house. This is not my house, people. Where am I? I was like, that is not who I am.
Yeah.
That is not what I want for myself. That is, and one of the things that iked me the most so that I can say I won't drink is someone who I despised telling me that I talked to them the previous night when I was drunk. Hey, my pride would not allow
that alcohol
me.
Can make
I know,
you do.
Because he came, hi, I was like, why are you saying hi to me? I was like, oh, yesterday you were nice to me. I was like, I was nice to this one, that's it. But this alcohol is not for me. Like, I let it go. And now I let it go and I started living a life without alcohol. And you see, God made sure when you take a God path, He has already put things in place for you. Yeah. But you have to trust Him wholly. So I told God, I'm not sure what we're doing because I was really not saved. It's like I'm going to church, I'm praying, I'm reading the Bible. Someone told me to repeat after him, say this, you're saved. But I felt like nothing has changed. Yeah. I know I've changed, but nothing has really changed. Then in November, I told a friend of mine, I want to visit your church. Hey, you people seem cool. You're dancing for Jesus, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, don't even come to church. Don't even come for service. We have something called a gathering. I was like, okay, what is a gathering? I walked into a dome at Mavuno Hill City in Adiriva. It's huge. I was like, Father, I wanted a small church. Please, why are you trying to embarrass me in front of people? And you know, someone called me, Annita Raey. I was like, hey. They know who I am. And until I was standing there and the Pastor M started with an altar call, do you want to get saved? Immediately after worship, I'm telling you guys, up to date, I don't remember how I walked to the front. I was alone. I am seated alone. I walked and he prayed for me and I think I cried like for an hour and I could tell you now I am saved. Now my life is going to change and I was so sure my life is going to change. It was November 18th last year. So the praying, the Bible reading all came together and now I wanted to live a life of service to God. So I asked God, where do I start? Immediately I got saved. I lost a friend of mine committed suicide, a childhood friend. And also the same day I lost someone I was taking care of. They had cancer. I was like, Father, I just got saved and you're just hitting me up east-west. But then it was such a calming place for me because after the funerals, I went back to church and told the pastor, I want to serve, but I don't know where to serve. I don't know where to serve, but I know wholeheartedly that God really wants me to serve. And then in my mind, I thought God wants me to delete Annita Raey. You know, just change, become a mocorino, wear long clothes, you know.
No
don't
more
even
jeans.
show your tattoos, no more jeans, you know. Don't even talk to men. The whole, I have a blog that talks about a new Christian. It's hilarious. What people you think you should do, what people think you should do, what is expected of you, and what you should actually do. Because being a new Christian is like being a child. You have to crawl. You have to eat that. You have to struggle. You have to struggle with faith. You have to really struggle to know God. And you can't know God unless you fight with Him. You can't know God unless you wake up. And you see, you think, umeokoka, you're going to get a job, you're going to get rich. It's a lie. It doesn't happen that easily. You don't become moneyed. You know, you have to grow. You have to, I said, be a child in faith. You have to feed yourself with the word. You have to feed yourself with the worship. And growing spiritually has taught me what to weed out.
Yeah.
Weed out some company, weed out who I follow even on social media, weed out what I listen to, weed out what I take in spiritually, weed out even the people I let pray for me. Because I don't know why you're praying for me, so I'll be like, bro, why are you praying? No, I'll pray for myself. I talk to my God. So since November 18th, by the time we got into December, I was serving. I was helping church with social media because that's what I've studied. I'm good at it. So gradually, acceleration and favor, I was asked if I can be serving. I started leadership school. It's called Fearless Leadership Bootcamp. 1 year, you're tested. And when I say tested, you're tested on becoming a Christian leader. Hey, I have quit that thing a million times, but God is good. 6 months down the line, I have not yet left. I've written a book. In this 1 year, those 6 months, I have a book. I am serving as an associate pastor here, where we are. This location, we have a church inside the resort.
You're a pastor.
Associate
pastor.
We are learning from the pastor's associate. We have a church inside here, so I serve in this church. What else do I do? Mentorship. I have a school where I stay. I have a school with 686 kids in primary school and 300 kids in secondary school. I do mentorship. We're renovating the entire school. I found people to do that with me. I'm serving God in every capacity of my life. Personally, spiritually, church, community, like I'm 360 God. The only thing I told God is I want to have the heart of David, just to know him more. And more so, I want people to see me and see God. Like every time I go on TikTok, people are like, Annita Raey, I'm like, guys. And you see, for me, nobody preached to me. Nobody told me, get saved. You're going to be burnt by hellfire. God just worked on me so much. Like when the time was ready, I just got saved. And God has accelerated me so much. Every time people ask me, you came to church in November. Hey, how are you in this space? How are you this spiritually endowed? How are you this? Like they keep asking, Annita, what are you doing? I'm like, people, I live a life that people might call stupid. Me, I live a life of God fully. Like I am such a radical God person. I don't do anything without praying. And it might seem silly, but I don't. And I keep telling people, if God doesn't say anything, people, I'm not doing that thing. As much as it might seem crazy, I'm not doing it. Like, I live that kind of life. God wants it, it will happen. If he doesn't, it's not meant to be. And it's easy and also complicated. Because you see, as human beings, I was reading a book called Rediscovering the Kingdom by Miles Monroe. Our basic nature is to control things. I mean, we're given dominion over the world and everything in it. So you want to be in control, you want to be in charge. So we forget that if we are not surrendering it to God, we can't. Wezi patia Mungu kitu na ushike bado. Atishika hiki kikombe hobs ukunywe lakini nimekushikia hivi unakunyia hapa. You'll struggle, you know. You know, so if you give it to God, you really have to give it to God and fully and wholly and let him control your life. Our pastor said yesterday, until this self dies for it to be reborn in God, you really can survive in Christianity. So I'm a radical Christian. Hey, me, I'm a radical. You see the way I was a radical person of the world? I am a radical Christian.
So, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
As we wind up the interview today. Being a Christian, that one thing you can tell guys you're happy about being a Christian. Don't think you always wake up every day and you say, God, because of this, thank you for coming into my life.
That's limiting. I have one thing. I think every morning I wake up and I can talk to God and I know he hears me and answers me. That's it for me.
That's it.
Having a relationship with God, guys, I mean, I can talk to God. I can stand and tell God I feel this way and he can comfort me. Guys, for me, a relationship with God is it. Is it for me. You can talk to him anywhere, anytime, and he listens. And you see, you're told you have to go. With God, I don't have to go through you to get to him. Straight up. For me, that is it. That is it.
So, for me, I go to Sitamgong.
Yes.
Shout out to my pastor, Pastor Monene.
Come on.
Which church do you go to?
Mavuno. We are Mavuno. We are led by our senior pastor, Pastor M, Murithi Wanjao, and Pastor Karo Wanjao. But we have many branches. So me, I serve in Mavuno. We call them campuses. Mavuno Sagana. We are out here in Sagana. We're the only church in the whole resort in the middle of the forest.
Associate pastor.
So come on now. You can call me Pastor Raey.
Pastor Raey.
Every time I say that, I know it's utter. I can see people back there laughing like, people don't take me seriously. Guys, I'm a pastor. Yeah, and every time I show up with my blonde hair and my tattoos, God convicted me to remove my piercings. There were many. And every time I show up, they're like, Kai, who you see, pastor? I'm like, hey, Judge Hobbs, please get off. The Lord is not judging me, so don't you. But I call people that, hey, Judge.
Deputy Jesus.
Hey, if I call them that. I do not want them to associate them with Jesus. I call them Judge. Judge, so and so, get off your high horse. He already died for all of us, and I'm forgiven. And you see the beauty of life, and I want people to understand that God does not ask anyone for permission, Hobbs. If God says you're going to be a leader tomorrow, He will not consult your mother, He will not consult your boss. He will make you a leader. He created everything in this world, everything. Everything.
So guys, I'll tell you one thing. One thing I take home today. When God is done with you, He will turn your life into a life of purpose.
Amen.
If you think, not if you think, for sure, try Jesus. We are here for you. Annita, if you're around this area, Sagana area.
Yes, Sagana Riandera.
And you're looking for a church,
come on to church. Welcome to church. Our church, we are church for the churchless. You feel like